Welcome to our presentation, the Heart of Södermalm, where we will be talking about Medborgarhuset that is next to Medborgarplatsen. We will begin with a short video that we did as an exercise during the course. It describes some of the problems and some of the solutions. And it will also be Sweden's official contribution to the Academy Awards.
This is Medborgarhuset. This is empty. This is empty space at Medborgarhuset. This is Emma. This is men peeing. Emma is sad. She wants things to do. Here is an idea. Now Emma comes to Medborgarhuset to play chess, and to drink coffee, and to see art. Emma is happy. The end.
We are the Rosebuds. I am Simon Lindevåg. I have a Master of Science in Production Engineering from Luleå Technical University. This is Helena.
Oh, hello. I'm Helena. I have a background in media and communication, and I come from Brazil. This is Paula.
Yeah, hello. I'm Paula Mili from Tanzania and have bachelor's in computer engineering and information technology. And that is Musa.
Hi, my name is Musa. I study at KTH and I'm an undergrad in computer science. I'm from Botswana. And this is Freya.
Yes, my name is Freya. I have a bachelor's in political science and I'm from Gotland, Sweden.
And I'm Linnea. I grew up in Finland and I have a bachelor's in biomedicine.
And we also had another group member, Lucia. She was only part of the first half of the course, and she's here today. So as a background, to understand a little bit what our challenge was. So when our challenge givers, the Fastighetskontoret, came to us with the problem, they presented us with this question, our point of view, our first point of view. So how can we allow the Medborgarhuset to be an open place where citizens and visitors are safe and welcome so that they can and want to stay here? So when we tried to understand this challenge, we came to realize that Medborgarhuset is not living up to its full potential, and it has a big potential to become the center of culture and social life in Södermalm. We also understood that, as you could see in our very amazing video, there are a lot of empty spaces in the house. And not only that, but there are more concerning issues such as the presence of drugs and alcohol and disturbances, which of course makes you feel unwelcome and not super safe there. So for you to understand how we came to our final solution, so first of all, when we received the challenge from our challenge givers, we really immersed ourselves into exploring the problem. We really, we went to Medborgarhuset, we talked to the visitors, we tried to be visitors ourselves, and also we talked to the tenants and everyone that is related somehow directly or indirectly to the house to understand the problem from different perspectives. Once we did that, in the halfway of the course, we then presented 5 directions, which were all trying to solve the problem of making the house more welcoming, more inclusive, and these were presented, these 5 concepts were then presented to our challenge givers. But of course, these are very, very big and complex concepts, so we had to somehow narrow down. And to do that, we then went out again and did further interviews. We even did a workshop with the tenants. Some of them are here that were part of the workshop, which was very insightful as well. And we did also a survey with the citizens of Stockholm to understand what are the elements of these concepts that are important to them. So once we went out again and we came back to analyzing, okay, here are what people think, here are what they need, and we tried to come up with a selection process or selection elements of how we could pick up these big concepts and turn into one final concept. So we saw things and the elements into what was feasible, what was impactful, what was engaging to the visitors and the tenants, what was sustainable, and what was inclusive. And then today we combined some of these ideas and we will present the final solution and what we come up with, which will be the focus of today's presentation.
So then we had our findings and insights. So first of all, we were amazed to realize that people generally in the public do not know what Medborgarhuset is. We had some interviews on the streets and we asked questions, and people know the facilities that are there. You know, one can go to the bath, there's a library, but they do not know the house as a house itself. We were amazed to realize that the visitors are limited to the lower floors. When we say limited, we don't mean restricted. They can go to the upper floors, but there's really not much for them to do because it's mostly private offices there. And we were amazed to realize that the bigger issue is disturbance and not safety. A lot of people generally feel safe, but then they have disturbances from people acting out in ways that are induced by drug and alcohol-induced behaviors. So we were also amazed to realize that the excluding interior design does not solve the problem. There are not much sitting areas for the public, and they're not publicly accessible bathrooms, but nevertheless, there's two people coming inside to the house. Those sit on the floor, and those two charge their phone while sitting on the floor or wherever. And lastly, we were amazed to realize that the public building is not very public. So this is the library, but then after that, this is everything else requires a subscription or a payment of some sort. So moving on, we were able to have a reframes challenge which states, how can you make Medborgarhuset the Heart of Södermalm, attracting more citizens, creating a better flow within the house, and ensuring that people will have a positive experience inside the house. And thus we're able to come up with our vision. So now imagine it's 2035 and Emma has been at Medborgarhuset many times. She feels surrounded by people and is taking time for the things that she likes doing. Today is a Saturday, she's with her grandfather Patrick, who is 70 years old, and they've come together to the house to hang out there. They're planning to meet up in Södermalm, and it's clear to both of them that they refer to the house as the Heart of Södermalm, as that's how it feels for them at night. And so, through this vision, we're imagining a house for all the citizens of Södermalm, a space in which everyone can benefit. We imagine a visually stimulating house, one that attracts art lovers and that they want to be there to appreciate the beauty of the house inside as well. We imagine a house of convenience where people can refuel and have coffee while being seated comfortably. And lastly, we imagine a house of connection between friends and family sharing different experiences together.
Okay, so now to reach this vision that Musa just explained, our solution is presented in the form of a roadmap that we call Roadmap to the Heart of Södermalm, very catchy. So since it has been a very complex challenge, it of course has to be a complex solutions, but not really. So this is a 3-step kind of rocket, since everything is kind of difficult to implement all at once. So that's why we start with suggestions for 2025 and then 2028 and then 2030 and onwards. But hopefully it can be implemented earlier. This is just like a worst case scenario, maybe. So we will go through all of these in detail and we will present as what it is, why we think it's needed, and the expected outcome that we really hope for with these part solutions or steps?
Okay, so the first thing that we thought we could start with is building the community. It was the first thing because of its simplicity, and it doesn't need much of the resources for it to be implemented. So we're expecting this to be done within this year, 2025. This idea was validated after having a very interactive and successful workshop with the tenants at Medborgarhuset, as from the images there, because we saw how happy they were to connect, and they had so much experiences to share about the building itself. Like on the get-go, before starting the workshop itself, they had small discussions among themselves. They were so excited that we had to stop them, or else it would have taken the whole day. Yeah. So we saw the sense of having a community among them. So the community will be a forum where these tenants will meet, they will socialize, they'll share ideas, and most of all, solve problems, because the problems that they face are common, especially for the bath and the library that are receiving a large number of people every day. Together with this, we're envisioning Medborgarhuset to be a place of so much activities, and it will have a large inflow of people. For such an area, it has to be managed. So we suggested to have a receptionist who will also be the head of community, and also the receptionist will also act as a bridge between the tenants and Fastighetskontoret. So the receptionist will have responsibilities like organizing meetings among the tenants, also like overseeing the information board that will be used by the tenants, and also the visitors who will be coming in to enable them to easily navigate throughout the building, and also managing the booking system, because we are trying to make use of the empty places. So the booking system will be there to help the tenants to book in the places they want to use, and even people from outside will be interested in using these empty places. As an outcome of this, we're expecting to have a very strong community and also a sustainable solution, since problems will easily be seen and solved within the building if the capacity is within them. But if it's hard for them to solve, then it will be taken to Fastighetskontoret. Yeah.
The second step targets what you can see in these pictures, so the empty spaces, specifically the big hallways and staircases, but mostly this area on the 4th floor of the house, which is, like an empty space that is not really used for anything. So we have two different steps for this. One is called inclusive interior design. I will explain both of these in a bit, but this one is kind of like, specific interior design that we would suggest to add. And the second one has the same aim of filling these empty spaces, but it is a separate option because it gives this responsibility to someone else. But I'll walk you through it. So inclusive interior design, what do we mean by that? That could be things like in these pictures. It could be benches to sit on. It could be simple decorations such as art pieces, either made by artists or even by school kids or someone else to promote the community. But it could also be low maintenance activities like a ping pong board or chessboard tables that just would add life. Why we think this is important? First of all, for the benches, as Musa said earlier, people will come either way. So for example, in winter, if it's cold outside and people want to charge their phones, they're not going to stay outside just because they don't have benches. They will come either way. So it will be just more aesthetically appealing if they have places to sit on. And in general, like when it comes to the activity things, we think that they will attract a larger variety of people. For example, like different generations, younger people, older people. And by having a bigger variety of people, there will be more people in general. And by having more people in general, the people who would otherwise misbehave, take drugs or like misbehave, leave dirt on or trash around, they would be less inclined to do so because if there's more people in general, it's not empty. You kind of feel watched and you're going to behave well as well. So this other option is filling the blanks, as we call it. It has the same outcome. So the places that are empty now would be more attractive and inviting, but it does this by giving the responsibility to someone else. specifically someone who has interest and experience in it. So why we say this is because Fastighetskontoret has its main expertise in technical property management. They're very good at handling that aspect of buildings. But when it comes to creating spaces that are attractive for the public and for meeting people, there's other organizations that are maybe more interested or more experienced in it. So actually, also here we have two options. Option one would be actually renting the empty spaces out to some organization. We suggest, for example, like the Stockholm City Museum or like libraries, or the Stadsteatern AB, which, if you don't know it, they are responsible right now for Kulturhuset, and that is something we can see as an idol for Medborgarhuset, because that's a public building where things seem to work out. So it could be rented out to them, and they are then, from then on, in charge of designing those spaces and making them attractive for people. Option two would focus on specifically the area on the 4th floor, and it would be making a simple booking system for the tenants that are already in the house. Because several of those that we have talked to have stated interest in using this area occasionally, for like special events. And if there was a simple booking system, this place could at least regularly be filled with life.
Okay, so then the last step we call from private to public, which essentially is the idea of this step as well. It's, as Musa we've discussed, it's a lot of the top floors, they have private offices as of now, so the tenants are private, the public cannot go into them. So this part solution is that when a lease for the private offices, when one of those goes out, or if they want to change space, Fastighetskontoret should consider to choose tenants that are for the public. So that could be a coffee shop, for example, which you have had many people saying to us in interviews, the tenants in general, the survey that we conducted, that people want a place to sit down and have a coffee or a cafe. It could also be a second-hand shop, it could be information center, it could be a museum that rents out the space, so you can go into those big empty spaces that are also have like historical values with some lanterns and stuff, not lanterns, lamps inside. So we really make use of the whole house and make it a public building, because now it's kind of half public, half private, but it really make it fully public. And we also see it as an add-on that if you get a coffee shop on the top floor, that would also make the library more attractive, because you will pass it by and then maybe you want to go swimming the next day. So like filling out those empty or private offices will like give an add-on value. Like the more you change them, the more public the open the house will be, and the more people will be there, which will also, as Linnea said, handle the disturbance issues, since there will be a better flow. People will also have a reason to go to the top floors and not only stay on the lower floors in the house. And also, if you look at the cost of this, we hope that it could be kind of net zero, that if you change one private office to, for example, a coffee shop, you will still get a rent, even though I'm not sure about those details, but the value added will be at least very big for the public and the citizens. So the why is obviously to make use of the public building and to make this a Medborgarhus for everyone, and the outcome would also be for a place for citizens to spend their free time during weekends or weekdays, so they can have a reason to go there and go to the whole house.
To recap the roadmap, the first step is building a community. The second step is filling the house with inclusive design or someone that uses the empty spaces. And the third step is moving the interior from private to public by having tenants that serve the public instead of being offices. And with this, we hope to make Medborgarhuset the Heart of Södermalm, and we hope that Emma will experience her vision for 2035.